Have you ever noticed that when you follow every rule in fitness, you follow the diet, you follow the macros, you hit the perfect workout, it most of the time it still doesn't work out the way that it's supposed to on paper? Maybe it's that you lose weight, but you feel terrible. You have no energy. Maybe you build muscle, but you can't sleep and you don't have any friends anymore. Or maybe you just get super bored after doing the same thing over and over and over again, even though it's optimal. But what I've found is that it's not like that you're broken or you're doing something wrong. You're just not having fun with this. You're not experimenting. And I think that's why people stay stuck in like copy paste fitness land is they keep trying to follow somebody else's formula when personally, my opinion, the real magic happens when you start treating your body like a living experiment. Like just make yourself your own personal lab. That's fun. So we're going to break that down in this episode. By the end, you're going to understand how to test some new habits, measure some results without obsessing, and then turn your fitness plan into something fun, personable, and sustainable. Welcome to Get Leaner and Live Longer with Nate Palmer, the show for busy people who want to maximize their energy, burn fat, and build a body that feels as good as it looks. I'm your host, Nate Palmer. I've been a coach since 2008, and I believe that looking great and feeling unstoppable don't require hours in the gym or giving up all the foods that you love. This show is where I share real strategies that help you get leaner, live longer, and unlock your $1,000,000 body. So if you're ready to cut the noise, take control of your health, and feel like a high performer again, let's do this. So most of the time when I'm talking to people about fitness, they've followed keto, they've done Whole30, they did 5-3-1, they're doing German volume training, they hit CrossFit, they've done something with a label on it, and that's great. It's important to do a bunch of different things to see what you like, to see what works best for your body, but it becomes this like follow the formula, check the boxes, do the thing. It's like we're in school again, but that sort of thing, I don't know about you guys. This could be the contrarian in me, but I don't know about you, but that sort of thing, being told what to do over and over again, gets a little bit irksome. And especially if it's like we know that doing workout programs for 12 weeks of the same program can be actually extremely effective for building muscle and improving your strength. But being told to do the same thing over and over again can feel really, really boring. You feel like you're just slogging through it at some point. And I think that's why a lot of plans fail and experiments can actually be the solution here. Because our body's not like a static machine. It's adaptive. It's super alive, hopefully, and it responds differently for everybody. So the supplement stack that works for me might not be the one that's best for you. And what worked for your aunt to lose that 50 pounds, it's not going to be the same thing as it is for you. And maybe you're going to find something that's totally unique that you love doing, and maybe you just want to play pickleball all the time. That's great. And also, like, this isn't the same thing all throughout your life. You know, what works for you in your 20s, when you're 24, and you're just, your cardio consists of like walking home from parties at 2:30 in the morning, fueled by Coors Lights, is not the same thing that's going to work for you at 44 when you got kids at home and you're getting to bed at 8:30. So it's going to be different. It's going to get more challenging, and we need to continue to mix things up, not because of muscle confusion, which is fake, but because it's important to just keep it fresh. I really think that's the most important thing, is not necessarily from our body perspective, from our brain perspective. So I was thinking about my conversation with Sean McCormick a while back, a couple months ago, and how he was talking about the N1 experiment being the critical step to self-mastery for himself. So he tried carnivore, he's tried fasting, he's tried microdosing, he tried eating ants at one point, he tried sleep changes, and he started learning from like the direct feedback that his body was giving him from, rather than a specific rule set that he needed to follow because of rules. And I think when it comes to things like this, curiosity can really beat that boring, bland, like head down, follow the consistency. I'm not going to say that consistency loses, and because I think that a lot of times people will use that as an excuse to just program hop and jump around in the name of experimentation. I think consistency still has to play a big part. You still be training 3 days per week, but what if you change it up? What if you tried it for a set amount of time? And I think that also, and we're going to get into this a little bit later as well, like you can't just do an exercise one time or a training program for 1 week and expect to notice results. That's not how it works. Instead of that, there's a couple of ways to do this in a way that makes sense, and you actually see what's working for you. So personally, I've tested multiple things at multiple different points in my life. Like the thing I'm working on right now is a morning routine. And I'm a big morning routine guy. I think that if I can start my day off with the right morning routine, I feel so much better. So recently, I've been waking up a little bit earlier because some guys who are in the group with me, Front Row Dads, they challenged me to start incorporating more breath work into my daily routine. And they did that because I've been in a bit of a dark spot recently with fitness and nutrition. I'm not totally sure if I've talked about it on the podcast, but I've had like some back issues, like some herniations in my discs and some pain and some like sciatica and something called a double crush nerve impingement. So just some like annoying stuff that's kept me from moving. And previously I'd done really well with getting up and doing 6 minutes, doing 2 miles in 6 minutes on the assault bike. And that was a great way to get up. So I'd get up, I'd have hydrogen tablets and water. I'd do my 6 minutes on the assault bike. Felt amazing. I was really lean. I was burning fat. I felt great, got the day started. But I haven't been able to really sit on a bike for extended periods of time. And if I did, I would hop off feeling like hobbled, like I was limping for a couple hours, which is so stupid, you guys. Let me just tell you how stupid that is. I've also not been doing jiu-jitsu. I haven't trained jiu-jitsu since August 30th, which is hurting my brain as well. And also now I don't have anything to talk about at parties. Normally that's just my fallback. So it's just been stressful. I don't feel like I have like a great coping mechanism. Fitness has been such an integral part of my life in terms of not just the physical health and longevity and all those pieces, but mental health. Like I came into fitness at a time when I was going through a lot of shit, dealing with some emotional stuff in high school. And I really feel like having that sort of physical outlet enabled me to deal with emotions that I wouldn't have been otherwise able to deal with as like a 17-year-old. And, fast forward into my 20s, same thing. Big emotions, took it out of the gym. Felt great about that. Even now, like, got kids at home, get frustrated, go to the gym, work it out. Been great. But I haven't had that. And so, all that to say, I've been changing up my morning routine to incorporate breath work to give myself another additional tool to have some good mental health. Because that's important, for myself and for my family and the people around me. So I've been now, when I wake up, is I ran out of hydrogen tablets. So I've just been drinking like a third of a teaspoon of baking soda in water. And then I lay on this spike mat, this acupuncture mat, and I do breath work for 10 to 15 minutes, kind of depending on how much time I have in the morning. And that's been great too. I really like that. I like how that feels. Then I go kind of right into my day, take some of my supplements, make my breakfast, and basically out the door. And that's been such a good shift. And I'm so thankful to have men in my life who have like called me out. We're basically like, bro, you know better than this. Do something different. So that's number one. That's helpful. If you don't have a group of guys like that who are able to call you out, 10 out of 10 would recommend. And so like that's just one thing. I've tested multiple different supplement stacks. So like there's times I've tested like detox supplement stacks. There's times I've tested anti-inflammatory supplement stacks. There's times I've tested hormonal or testosterone boosting supplement stacks. I've tested training protocols. I've done all different types of things for like small, low volume, high volume, 6 days per week, 2 days per week, full body, bro splits, twice 2 a days, CrossFit, like more cardio based training, jiu-jitsu based training. I've done the combat training and I get something new out of each piece of this. There's not one thing that I look back and be like, oh yeah, that's the thing. There's different times in my life where the different thing has been important. Like for example, when my son was born and I switched from 6 days per week body part splits to going to 2 days per week full body for like 50 minutes, just out of necessity and just not having enough time with a toddler and a brand new baby in the house. And like what I saw was like, oh shit, like I didn't need all that volume. And in fact, I started getting better results because I actually gave my body the time and space it needed to recover. So I'll probably not go back to a 6 day per week lifting routine because my body just didn't like that. It didn't adapt as well. I got better results with lower volume and more recovery time. Adding in cardio has also been like a game changer for me, both in terms of my cardiovascular health, my conditioning has went through the roof, and I just feel good. I just feel like I can move around a lot better. And then it also gives me like kind of an outlet so I can do some sort of fitnessing without beating up my joints, like by lifting heavy every single day. So try different things. You'll learn something new from each piece, and I think that's the critical step. Now, here's how to run your own N1 experiment. So number one, pick one variable to test. So pick something specific, whether it's breakfast timing or breakfast content. So switching from what you're doing currently to doing protein and fats for breakfast. Maybe it's sugar intake, giving yourself like one piece of sugar per day. Maybe it's workout frequency, like I was talking about, going from like higher times per week to lower times per week. Maybe it's cutting off your caffeine at 11 o'clock. Maybe it's putting your phone down before bed, changing up your sleep routine, doing the different sleep stack for supplements. If you change 5 things at once, though, you're not going to know what works. And a lot of times, like with my back, I'm just throwing shit at a wall here, like just to see if anything will work. Because I don't care to necessarily know what it is. I just want it to be fixed faster. So I've done the BPC 500, BPC 157, and the TB 500. I've done these injections into like the soft tissue called Traumeal. I've done chiropractic adjustments, which probably shouldn't do with a herniated disc. I've done K-tape. I've done all kinds of stuff, and I just keep trying new things. What's working for me right now is working with a physical therapist who's awesome. Rebuild BJJ, fantastic guy, very very in depth, and he's also a jiu-jitsu black or brown belt, so he's knows the sport, and he's done a really good job with the assessments. And I just follow his program and do what he says. It's really boring compared to what I like to do. We're finally getting some new stuff in there, and that's been helping. It just took me some time to get through that. So if you change a bunch of stuff, you're not going to know what worked, but also sometimes like in a pinch, just throw everything at it. Especially if you're injured. That's when I think it's like time to get the massage, get the chiropractic, get the stim, get the needling, get all the stuff, do everything. And then you got to run it for a long enough time. I think the minimum you should ever run any sort of experiment is 14 days. I love a 30-day. I love a month. I think that gives you better results. And it also allows you time to actually see the results in whatever metric that you're using to evaluate. So it's long enough to get data. It's short enough to stay consistent, and it's also short enough to stay excited. I think that's very important, because if you do something for 90 days experiment, usually by that sixth week, you start getting a little bit bored. I know that from coaching thousands of people. I just see that all the time. If we don't change something up at week 6 to 7, people start kind of falling off and losing steam and momentum, which is hard to get back. So I also think that tracking here is really important. So depending on what you're trying to fix, keep like a journal, like an energy and mood journal, a sleep quality journal, something like that is going to accurately measure the outputs that you're trying to do. So like if you're trying to build muscle, obviously test your muscle with like an in-body scanner, some sort of bioelectrical impedance scanner, so you can measure body fat and muscle mass. If you're trying to evaluate your C-reactive proteins, your inflammation levels, or your A1C and your glucose levels, and see what your blood sugar is doing, then do blood work before and do blood work after. You can go to any sort of like Sonora Quest or any lab test now and just order a single blood test. It's really, really easy, and it's nice to be able to see those things. Pretty inexpensive too, to just get some of that information. So I like a 30-day experiment because, especially for blood tests, sometimes it takes a minute. And especially if you're testing like blood sugar, A1C is the measure of your blood sugar average for 3 months. So give yourself enough time to actually see a difference in those results. So just like keep track of the daily things that are going to be important there, and then also have kind of like a starting metric and an ending metric, whether that's a progress pictures like just you take in the mirror, an in-body scan of your body fat analysis, or blood work, something like that. And I also like having that be a little bit like of a bigger thing. If it's just like getting on the scale and you look at your scale and you're like, yeah, I'm down, that's not super exciting. So actually having being like, I'm going to go get this test done, that really is really helpful, especially if you can schedule it in advance. Like, I got a DEXA scan, it's coming up on the 30th. I got to stay on my game. I also think putting money towards something like that, really helpful. When I did carnivore, I spent like a couple $100 on just having enough red meat. Bought it in bulk, got a little bit of a deal. But also, like, now I put money towards it. Now I'm invested. That's really important. So you pay for 2 DEXA scans, you're invested. You pay for some blood work, you're invested. Pay for a trainer or coach, you're invested. And those sorts of things keep you coming back for longer. And then number 3 is evaluate like a scientist. Stay curious here. Don't judge this. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is what it is. So maybe you try veganism for a month and you're like, holy shit, that was horrible. Great. Maybe veganism is not for you or for anyone. But maybe you do carnivore and you're like, that was so hard. Got some good results, but just the meal prep on that was damn near impossible. Then maybe that's not the right fit for you. Maybe you try a 2-a-day workout and you're like, I really struggle to get my workouts in. You do 75 hard. You got to do 1 indoor workout, 1 outdoor workout every single day for 75 days. Maybe you finish it and you're like, wow, that was a great test of character, build a lot of confidence. I know I can do hard things. Never doing it again though. So just give yourself the ability to see it through, evaluate it based off of the results you got, as well as some of those metrics like the journal you're keeping. And then just like, how sustainable is it? Is this something you could run long term? And if this is not something you can run long term, not to say don't do it, but like, what are maybe the 1 or 2 points that you can extract from that you can do? Whether that's drinking a gallon of water per day, thinking back to 75 hard, cutting out alcohol, following a specific diet. Maybe you keep one of those pieces in there rather than trying to do 75 hard for the rest of your life. So asking yourself, did I feel better? Did I perform better? Did I enjoy the process? That's going to be helpful in critiquing, making sure that you have what you need. So a couple of things that I've done in real life or seen people do is like the sleep window test. This is a fun one. So what happens if you keep your bedtime within a 30-minute window for 2 weeks? What happens if you always go to bed between 9:30 and 10? What happens to your sleep? What happens to your energy? What happens to your body fat? What happens to your emotions? What happens to your mood? The fasting window test. Try pushing breakfast back by an hour each day until your energy dips. See what that's like. Something different. Or just try intermittent fasting. Or do a rolling 24-hour fast, which is a really fun experiment, where you just eat one meal per day for like 2 weeks. See how that goes. Do workout experiments. You can track your strength and your mood doing 3 shorter workouts instead of 5 longer ones. Or one thing that I've been liking a lot for clients who have limited time right now is doing 5 short workouts that are like 3 or 4 exercises long, take about 25 minutes so you do that one like 5 days a week rather than doing 3 longer workouts. That's been really fun. People are getting good results. We can absolutely torch a body part and then have them move on and not do it again. You can do a sugar detox. You can compare your energy levels before and after you do the 5-day sugar detox. Go to thefreesugardetox.com to grab that. You could try like adding in some sort of sleep stack. So doing complete restore before bed, and adding in some magnesium, and then doing something like rubbing magnesium oil on your feet before bed. That's one of my favorites. So try something like that. See if that works for you. So, and then you can also try nutritional ones. So just try a carnivore diet. Try Whole30. That's a 30-day experiment. That's one of the hardest ones I've ever done. Try the Million-Dollar Body Method. That's proteins and fats in the morning, proteins and carbs, or proteins and veggies for lunch, and a protein, carb, and veggie for dinner. Try that for 30 days. See how your energy ends up. See what your body composition looks like. So you don't need a lab. You just need a little bit of curiosity, and then just keep a notebook. So I feel like this works long-term because it's fun. Most people quit because they think fitness is about following rules, but really there are no rules. Just do stuff that feels good and that you like doing, that keeps you interested. Obviously, eating Snickers feels good, but it doesn't feel good long-term. So maybe don't put the Snickers experiment in there, or do it. See what happens. Eat 10 Snickers a day. See what happens to your body. Just check it out. And so when you switch to experimenting, this kind of becomes a game. And that's great because games are addictive and in a good way. And it keeps you on track, on point, and it keeps you kind of just coming back to the thing. So you're not chasing perfection here. You're not following it's not good or bad. It's just feedback. It's curiosity. It's fun and it's playful. It's just different. And this mindset really builds consistency naturally because you're engaged and you're learning. And if you stop being engaged and stop learning, that's when I think this gets monotonous. So the cool thing about this is that you can't fail an experiment. You can really only discover what works for you. So try this out, see what works for you. And if you have any questions or want help designing an experiment that you can do on your own, awesome. I'd love to help out. Just reach out, shoot me an email, nate@nate.fit. Or if you want a proven framework that gets results faster than guesswork, check out the Prime Protocol. For $97 a month, I'm going to send you a jug of protein every month. I'm going to do all your workouts for you, and then I'm going to help you out with your nutrition, either by enacting a fasting protocol or doing macros. So I guarantee you'll get results before you finish that first free jug of protein. And then you can find that linked in the show notes, or just go to milliondolarbodylabs.com. Just remember, the people who transform their bodies aren't the ones who necessarily follow the rules perfectly. They're just the ones who stay curious. Hope you have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning in. I'll talk to you later.